Welcome to the ManXchange podcast hosted by Coach Alfonso Short. Join him each week on Saturday mornings as he engages with his guests and they discuss men leading, boys thriving, and communities winning. The conversation is underway.
Good day to everyone. I hope that you're having a great day. My name is Alfonso Short, better known as Coach Short, and welcome to my podcast, ManXchange. My aim and objective is that we get together with young men and men alike, that we share and bridge the gap with us on how to become better men for our communities, our families, and overall society. I hope that our program will help you feel confident and empowered through our guests, and also maybe through some words of confidence that I may speak myself. Today, I'd like to honor and have you meet with our special guest, Miss Dr. Wendell Fields. Dr. Fields, how are you doing today, sir?
Oh man, I don't know how to act today. I mean, it could be storming outside. It might not. I don't know, but I just know that it is a great honor and a pleasure to be with you, Coach Short. I tell you, you making big things happen, and I appreciate so much you allowing me to come and talk with you, with the fellows, with people that'll be watching this podcast. I tell you, it's a wonderful thing, and hey, y'all stay warm up in the camp. Now, y'all stay warm up in the camp. You know, I seen the picture of you, Short. I seen, and you had on this. I guess it was a black, a black suit coat. I looked at that thing and I say, "Oh, I gotta come up. I have to come up. I'm not there of the upper echelons. You know that, right? I'm not there on the upper echelon. So I'm gonna be there one day.
Thank Dr. Short for all of that. She makes sure that my appearance is representing the household, representing her. And that represents men abroad, and we all want to step up. I feel the same way, and the things that I'm doing and the men that I've had the opportunity to interview, and with you in particular, knowing that the work that you labor and do. And if you just share a little bit about yourself, if you will.
All right. Well, my name is Dr. Wendell Fields. Oh, golly. Boy, that's a name, y'all. Wendell Fields. And I tell you, at one point in my life, I used to hate that name because I associated, when people heard that name, that meant that I, in some way, some fashion, am in trouble. Okay. And when they said Wendell, Lord have mercy. But then life changes a person, and I started liking that name. And so when I put emphasis on Wendell Fields, I'm a proud person of that name now. And things have just changed miraculously. And it's a great thing. So here it is. I have an honorary doctorate, you all. I'm a person that has a certified alcohol and drug, you all, certification. I am a mental health person with a CPS, meaning that I'm a certified peer specialist. And in that specialty, I help people that have mental health conditions, or I also have a CPS that is called addictive disease. And in that, I walk along with people that might have that substance use, that might have that mental health condition. And in that, you all, I help bring them out into a world that they can thrive and that they can live and that they can help the community, you all. So in all of that, hey, I'm a minister. Hey, I'm a mental health advocate. I'm a trainer, and I'm a community speaker. Now what you know about that? What you know about that?
That's excellent, and quite a resume that you have. And how did all this start for you to become interested and concerned about the mental health field that you pursued it?
Well, that's a great question, and how I want to answer that is, you, you, you have a mother, I have a mother, I have a daddy, you got a daddy. Well, guess what? My mom, of all people, became my shero. And what I mean by that is that my mom demonstrated to me that you can be anything you want to be, even when it comes down to having a diagnosis of a mental health condition. And in that, my mom was a nurse practitioner at the VA hospital, but yet she had a diagnosis of a person having bipolar disorder. Now, in that, you all, she demonstrated that she could give to her family, she could give to her community, and you can still be a person in recovery with mental health symptoms. It just means that she had a way of working these things out and giving back to the community. She was the first person to show me that you can live with a diagnosis and still be usable. And so I think that's what, life is about. That's how I got started. I wanted to understand about, hey, what's this mental health thing about? How can I help my mom if I can? And that's how I got involved. And next thing you know, I went through some things. And when I say I went through something, I went through some things, you all. I'm talking about molestation. I'm talking about being kicked out the front door with no clothes on and feeling that shame. I'm talking about not only being molested by both men and by women, but guess what, you all? I got bullied. Can y'all imagine this bald headed joker getting bullied and everything? But guess what? It happened to me. And the expectations on my life, you all, I wasn't going to amount to anything. They said that this brother man had a what they call it, developmental issue. Yeah, and in that, God came in. I wanted to take my life, and I tried to take my life through the use of suicide. And my higher power came in, busted the tire on the car I was driving to try to get hit by an incoming train, you all. And in that busted tire veered away from the incoming train. And I said, I can't even get deaf right. But I ended up following just some basic stuff. And that was go to the doctor, get some therapy. And even then, you all, I was struggling with this thing. And when I stopped being scared, I became vulnerable and honest. And in that, it has opened up so many doors for me. That's all I can say. That's how I'm going to put it. That's how I'm going to leave it.
You have dropped the bomb, so to say. And this is really one of my main reasons and a purpose I think that God has led me in having this conversation or having the platform of ManXchange. I consider it a safe community for men to be informed, for men to be heard, to be healed, to be humble, to be whole, to be honest, to be transformed, and most of all, to be yourself. And you have just exhibited all of that in your introduction to us. What I would like to ask, in going through all of that, no doubt it took strength. But one question that something comment and question is many times, particularly men, we don't want to get help when it comes to definitely mental. We don't want to go get a physical examination, but
Said right.
Having mental things going on that's obvious from even a layman's term that he acting crazy, or we can say we have anxiety or depression, but what do you do about it? Because someone say it's going to be all right is not the cure or not the prescription. So in that process of you determining that it's best that I get some mental professional help, how did that occur?
Well, the only way I can explain it is if you haven't seen it before, you ain't going to do it. And so what that means is that I hadn't seen people that looked like me go and get help. But one day, this guy by the name of Kevin Hines, he's a gentleman that who speaks about mental health and who does suicide prevention. He gave his story, and I'm in awe. You know, this is a guy. This guy who is mixed, and when I say mixed, biracial, talks. And he talks about the whole experience that he has had. And in that, he did try to take his life. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. And in that, he survived it. And he tells the story about how he was having hallucinations, all the schizophrenia type of symptoms. And it ends up that he just told his story, you all. And it just opened up my heart to say, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to try to take my life again. And this time I come up with a physical element that I can't get rid of. And that persuaded me and encouraged me to go look for help again. And this time I was more honest, I was more vulnerable. And when I did that, the more help I got. Now, you know, back in the day, you had to be strong. As African American men, we had to be strong when it came down to our family. We knew that we had to make that money, but yet we also had to take care of our family. And so therefore we had to show and put on a mask of, I'm not vulnerable. I'm always strong. You will never catch me slipping. But yet inside, man, we're again toe up from the flow up. And in that, change has to be about.
And that's something that the honesty and the vulnerability to share your personal life experience, from the mental things that you went through and the physical abuse, and to still, thank God, have the grace upon you that your consciousness said that you wanted to be healed.
Yes.
And then, as you said, you happen to at least be exposed to the opportunity, and even in that, it just didn't happen by presto changeo. You had to go through the changes, the osmosis, and now you realize I have to submit myself to the authorities and to the process so that I can be better. And thank God, in doing so, it obviously triggered something in you, which I would say you are operating in your purpose, because you're helping so many other people and have helped so many other people through the years now. Can you kind of expound on some of that work experience in working with men, young people, families, whatever, and how not only have you helped them, how you continue to grow in the process of doing that?
Well, let me tell you something. There's two things I got going for me. One, like I said, I'm a minister. And if I didn't pray, if I didn't understand how to apply the word of God to situations and circumstances, and continue on wanting to learn how to use the word of God to situations and circumstances, I don't think I would be here. And the fact that I did study psychology in college, I don't think I would be here. But having a background with these two things, it launched out a person who's in the mental health field. And in that, I like to say it like this: a social worker and a nurse practitioner got together, and what came out was this handsome joker that you see today, Wendell Fields. And in that, because of their compassion, because of their understanding, it imprinted on me how to help other people. And in that, I now work with the only, the only state certified entity that can provide people with certified peer specialist credentials. And what that just means is that I've been called to train, to educate, and to lift up and encourage individuals that might have a mental health condition or substance use condition and help them to bring out their genius, their gift, their speciality. And in that, I'm telling you, I have seen people transform into leaders that you would have said, "Oh, not that one." And I do mean that like that, not that one. But because of the training, because I started out in suicide prevention, and in that, it expanded to me being an advocate because I work as on the board of directors with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NUMMI. And in that, me gaining and doing that, not only self advocacy, but I started gaining education and learning how to use the supports that we have around us. And that's what I want to encourage men to do. You know that NUMMI is available to you. Silence the Shame is available to you. And not only that, but if you think about it, if you know 988, 988 is a great source. It's a national number that you can use to gain support. Sometimes instruction on what to do, when to do, where to do, and they connect you with supports and resources that are out there. Those things really did help me to become a better person, especially for my family and especially for my community.
That's wonderful. And a question that you actually were leading me into is that in the different organizations that you're affiliated with, and then what you do at your on the local basis of interaction with individuals, families, kids. My interest is going back to all of these things that you've navigated yourself through that was trauma, and you turn it into a teaching. Have you found in your field, and I say young people, that could be as young as 6 years old, but suicide is in lack of self-worth is something that I hear a lot because I'm volunteer and mentor in a school system. Normally now it's elementary, but I've been through from 6 years old to 18. And I didn't have expertise in as you have dealing, but after I'm talking to young people and hearing them a lot, I saw low self-esteem. We could just say that, but it's deeper than that many a time. If not addressed, it can get deeper. Um, what age do you see kind of that seed is already planted in an individual, and what are some of the techniques or something you use to try to work with them a little, at least to change their perception?
Well, it all starts when they are conceived, believe it or not. For me, I remember I was married, you all. Okay, let's just get it out there. But in that, I would be talking to my son as he was in the womb and telling him he gonna be the best thing since sliced bread. I would lovingly stroke the belly of my then wife and really provide that child with some form of knowing that he was special to me. When that joker was born, I just smothered the love all on him. I tell you, it's how I spoke. It's how I held them. It's me being in constant presence, not just proximity, but present in his life. And being around isn't the same thing as being engaged. And so you got to engage, okay? And you got to do it constantly. Why? Because consistency helps an individual build trust. And when you build trust, you build stability. And when you do that, that equals love to a small child. And so when a child gets that and he starts understanding that this person loves me, they want to imitate that. And in that, you got to continue to pour. You got to continue to pour. And the next thing you know, that individual is like, my daddy did this. My daddy does it like that. Okay. He's learning a little bit more about his identity. And in that, you start watering. You start clearing the weeds out. You start cultivating that person. And that person looks to you. And even in correction, they have to learn that this is a protective matter. And I don't want you to go off on the deep end hurting yourself. So you're doing this all in love. And in that consistency will help that person learn and be all the best that they can be. But you got to be consistent.
And the key points you made, and definitely love is the key, and the consistency. And yet here's a dilemma, not in debate or controversy, is that in the African American community, and I'm sure in other communities as well, because 50% of marriages don't last. Mm-hmm. And many times young boys do not have engagement from their fathers. Some don't know who their fathers are. And the speaking into, if there is a father around that's inconsistently engaged, he's dealing with trauma that no one ever spoke into his life. So he can't speak anything into his life. He is emulating something, but it may be things that will cause negative impact and effect on that child's life, that young man's life at some point. And I'm sure you see it's early. I see it as just coming in periodically and working with kids and see the impact. And as a adult, I realize, I say there's a lot of things going on with this young man, because his anger or his defiancy to authority, are also them being shut down and seem fearful to have conversation, when not because I want you to speak, because I'm here in open discussion, that my discussions are broad and varied so that everyone can be a part of, and needing the tools to want to know how to help that young individual and not negate helping all the other ones that appear to be okay, because they're not okay either.
Right. And when we look at this, and as we further talk, I'm thinking about, what do people go through when they're young like that? Well, they go through changes like we never had before. What happens when we become 12 or 13? We are then considered adolescents. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
And what is going on when you become that teenager? Can you help this brother man out? What went on with you, sir, when you was that teenager? Were some hormones
Yes.
popping off? Was it popping off? And And you started smelling yourself, and you perceive the world from a different point of view. It started to come in with the social. First it was in the house, now it's going outside the house, and you're learning about this, that, and that challenges the mindset. It challenges the rules and the regulations that have been placed in the house. And
Yes.
then you get that inner conflict, then you start getting the outer conflict. And
Yes.
oh my, tigers, bears, oh my, and all of this is going on. And in this, people change, and man, they don't know what to do, where to do, how to do. And I
And the
tell
thing
you,
is, Mr. Wendell, is that nor do their parents. And parents seem to they be fearful because they don't want to disappoint their children, the boys, and they don't want to really make them feel negative, or the reverse, because of that change happening, and they know that the change is happening, but they didn't have that support in anyone that was a safety net for them. So it becomes a argumentative type relationship, child and mother. Then it becomes that the child is dominating the household, not just the parent or parents, but dominating the household, and that rolls over to them also becoming that way in the outside of the home.
yes,
So now
sir.
outside of the home for a young person is that they're in school. So now they're showing off in school,
Come on.
and the school is not going to accept it. But so long, eventually they're going to be suspended, then they're going to be expelled, then they're going to be alternative school, and if they do that, then they're going to be out, and then they're going to be on the streets, and life is going to be lifing on them, and nobody's there to help them.
Correct.
How I want to build the bridge where we as men, whether you're the father or you're the man in the neighborhood at the Boys and Girls Club or whatever the after school program, that we also have the tools to communicate, because it starts with the family. If
Yeah.
we can't get the parents involved, then we're still going to lose, because they get a snapshot time with us, the kids, and then when they leave, hey, they're the best kid that can be with us if we're consistently being strong, not being dominant, that I'm your authority or else, but being strong as men to show that it's okay to have good manners.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
okay. First, it's okay to not feel well about something.
Yes.
It's okay to cry.
Yes.
It's okay to tell your friend, your brother, that you love them sincerely in a mutual type way.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Rules and regulations that you speak of, and also the benefit of following rules, but also the consequences of when you don't.
Don't. Yes, sir. But you have to do all of that in a loving type of fashion, because you're cultivating, and the parents are cultivating, and if they don't know how to cultivate, when to cultivate, then it's trouble. But yet, where do you go for those type of things? Do you go to the YMCA and look at a mentor program, or the boys club, girls club? It is a such thing as mentoring that's out there. And you, coach, being a man that mentors, you know what it's all about, and you
Yes,
know
sir.
how to tap into it and connect. But people don't know how to do that.
So, do you find parents, whether they're male parent or female, reaching out for your teaching and training that you make available? That so because they really have a hunger and thirst, that they want to get something down in methodology, so to say, that they can
Yeah.
communicate and get to know their child again, and vice versa.
Yes, yes, yes. Do you have a time where you and your loved one sit down and talk on a weekly basis? Do you do a daily check-in with them? These things are going to help create consistency with them. And they're going to have the ability to come to you and say, hey, this is what's going on. How do I handle that? How do I handle this? And if you don't know, It's okay to say, I don't know, but how about if we look at it together to find out? You know what you're doing? You're building that person up. You're helping that person know it's okay to ask questions and don't have the answer, but we can go and look and find out what is the answer.
I think that's excellent what you just said, and you do it so naturally to think that the I we, not I me, because we live in such a I me syndrome society today that I have it, I'm the one me, and you don't, and we create what to me I think a unhealthy competition that creates jealousy and then turns into envy, turns into hate, and all that instead of us showing the love, having compassion for others. That if I know something, if I know it well enough, then I want to share it and teach it to you, not because you can be, not that you will be like me, but you have another arsenal that you can
Yeah.
fight this thing life that we have going on. That you can, again, I'm using this terminology so much, but you can reach in the toolbox and say, hey, Coach Short gave me a few things that this is a situation I need to use it. Let me pull it out now. I didn't think that old dude was talking something I could use, but I think I need this right now. Hey, Dr. Fields was sharing something with me or sharing something with my mother. She said something. It makes sense now because we only feel good about ourselves when we feel where I said we're worthy, that we have confidence and esteem, but we feel like we make sense.
Right, right,
We have a
right.
reason to be in this world. So therefore, and I'll get to that, uh, suicide is not an option. Homicide is not an option. Giving up is not an option.
And the thing about it is that us as men, we have the ability to stabilize our families. We have the ability to cause cycles, whether that's violence, substance use, abandonment, silent suffering. We have the ability to come in and help our family. And when we do that, it helps the community because what goes in the home is going to come out.
Yes,
And
sir.
if we do not create a healthy, safe place in schools and churches, teams, or workplaces, guess what? It's going to be commotion. And
Yes,
in
sir.
that, we need our men to stop. And I do mean this sincerely. Hey, man, stop messing around and let's really look at how we get our life together because there's only oh so far you can go with drugs, with womanizing, with having so much money. It's pathetic. It's only so far it's going to take you. But when you start working on you, the inside of you, it helps you to work on the outside of you. So get that help, man. I know it's hard because I know it's hard, but this is the thing that has saved my life. And I want to help you with your life to get better because, women are outliving us. You know that, right? And in that, because they have figured a way to know how to use community and express their emotions so that they can live a long life instead of being quiet. And I'm going to take it like a man. And I'm not saying you just blah, blah. I'm saying that, hey, I'm going to go get help through therapy or by coaching or by some other means of making sure I am okay.
You have hit the mark, Dr. Wendell Fields, on what I desire to see this podcast, ManXchange, do. I thank you for sharing with me today. There'll be many more discussions on and off camera from now on for sure. But most of all, I'd like for you to share your platform of contact information so that others can contact you and learn more about you. And we will continue to share this as well on ManXchange.
Yes, sir. Well, you can reach me, you all, at my website at www.wendalefields.com. You can also get in contact with me at Wendell_Fields@yahoo.com. Those are the two avenues that you can contact me with. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, and I tell you, you can connect to me like that. You'll see what I'm doing. I try to be quiet, but sometimes it gets sort of loud. The volume gets loud, but it's the same work. I love mental health. I love substance use, and I love helping people that got them both. And that's what it's about for me.
Thank you. Well, we can't get help if we don't open our mouth and let someone know.
Correct.
And then we can't help someone if we don't open our mouth and let them know.
Yeah, right, sir. And hey, you all, don't forget 988. It's totally free. It's 24/7, 365 days of the year. You can call at any time to get that help. Okay.
Well, thank you so much again. I'd like to thank our audience for participating and sharing some of their precious time with us today. Mr. Fields, I really appreciate you. I want everyone to have a good day, have a good week, and have a good year. Thank you.